The under fire private school at Gloriavale religious commune is set to close. Education bosses say they'll cancel the school's registration, a move Gloriavale says it will challenge. To discuss this decision, I'm joined by barrister Brian Henry, who led 2 successful employment court cases against the commune and its leaders. Brian, really appreciate you being with us this morning. How significant is this move in your mind?
This is critical because it is the school that's the total enabler of this society. You've got to remember it's been running for about 50 years. So you've got parents, you've got grandparents, and now you've got little children who are totally educated into the system. And the documents setting up Gloriavale say the purpose of this school is to teach Gloriavale's structure, beliefs, and to put them out for what life's going to be like in Gloriavale. In other words, for girls, little education at all, but for boys, if they're lucky, a trade, otherwise they're just labourers.
And so Gloriavale's saying that they're going to challenge this decision. I mean, no surprise to you, right, considering how critical the school is to Gloriavale's operations. Can you just elaborate a bit more on why the school is so key?
It's absolutely critical because the whole ethos of the community is to entrap children. And one of the big reasons they shifted into the base of the South Island was because in Rangiora, if there are disputes with parents who left could get back at them easily, but more importantly was the fact that the children would escape and go into Christchurch. And we had evidence in the trials that this was a big reason for them to go and isolate. Isolation is the absolute key to Gloriavale, and isolating and being able to control the input of information, which is keeping them separate, keeping them what they call unworldly, is essential. If they are mixing in schools with other children, that unworldliness will break down. And it's the impact, I believe, of other children who are brought up in normal families that will absolutely send the kids home saying, why are we living in this slave-like camp? And that's how it'll break down, because the kids will reject it and the kids will start to talk back. The kids will question the leader. Remember, this is a group that were using suffocation techniques to break the free will of children. That starts to fall to bits when they see other children playing competitive games. For example, if they get involved in a soccer game and they in a winning team, normally kids come home all proud of it. If you did that in Gloriavale, you're in big trouble, because that's having self, that's showing that you're better than everybody else.
So you think, Brian, this is very much the start of what could be the dismantling of this commune? You think this is the first sort of part to go?
It will be a big step in breaking the control of these, I don't know what I want to call them, these leaders, let's just call them that. And once they start losing control of the children, then the community will fall to bits. I heard on the news some experts saying, oh, I should just send teachers into Gloriavale. That would be, to my mind, a disaster. They need to have outside teachers, but they need to be taken off site, and they need to actually be integrated into the system, then integrated in with other children and integrated into normal classes, because that's where they will get a proper education. A lot of education doesn't come from the teachers. It actually comes from being with schoolmates. And that's the establishing themselves as part of the free society we run. And education isn't just about a teacher. It's about the environment in the school. It's about meeting other children and seeing freedom.
Brian, this it's taken a long time. I mean, why has it taken so long? I mean, we know we've had these 2 ERO reports that have been highly critical, but surely prior to that, there have been problems with Gloriavale's school. Why is it that officials have suddenly acted now in 2025?
Well, first, I'm pleased they have, but why is going to be a very interesting question, because that's something that we will be dealing with in the courts. We've always seen education and the ability to educate is the enabler of this particular group of, we say it's sex offenders cloaked in religion. It's this ability to educate and keep isolated that has let them survive. I have no clue how any ERO official could go into that school and come away believing that they're getting a proper education, given the way they're isolated, given the curriculum. You look at their NCEAs, well, of the woman that gave evidence in the Pilgrim case, we call it the Teams case, their education's abysmal. All they did was literally got to an age where they could be pulled out of school and put to work. They were working before school, after school, and very quickly, full-time, the moment they're allowed to be pulled out of school.
So Brian, would it be fair to assume at least that the Education Ministry is taking this step right now because you have launched legal action against them and other agencies alleging significant failures? I mean, could that be part of the reason why they've stepped in at this point to save face?
I think it's a bit like sandpaper. The more we keep succeeding, the more we keep litigating, the more we keep rubbing them, the more officials are starting to suddenly sit up and say, oh, I might have a problem here. You've got to remember, we issued proceedings against specific civil servants, and the court has ruled that you can't sue them even though the negligence is as gross as can be. It has to be actually deliberate fraud or something like that. We are very serious in this litigation. The levers I act for cannot believe, now that they're out, they're free and they're starting to understand the world, why it is nobody came to help them. In 2015, there was a lot of television publicity, and they created this all-of-government response, and that included education. And they get it going, and then they abandoned it. And they abandoned it because all the local agencies apparently were working well. Well, that's going to be tested in court because these kids were still slaves. Nothing had changed at all. It's not as if that had any difference. They were still using suffocation. The government knew they were using suffocation and did nothing. And all we say is all-round inaction by civil servants that is just, to me, unbelievable as decent human beings. You should have seen this and gone, my God, what's going on? They didn't. And I look forward to full discovery into the education reports and the documents, because we haven't had that yet. That will come. But when we see that, I honestly just don't know how they explain this away. I don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. We will see a lot more to come on this, Brian. We really appreciate your time this morning and your insights. That is Brian Henry, barrister and lawyer for Gloriavale Leavers.